This paper is C2 Jan 2005. There are 9 questions, totally 75 marks, and 90 minutes. That means 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's get started. So the first question is binomial series. This is a binomial series question, and it is 3 plus twice x to the power 5. Now remember, they told us to expand up to the first 3 terms. That means up to x squared. A common question and a common mistake is to take up to x cubed. It's not up to x cubed. The first 3 terms means up to x squared. So take 3 common. You have to make this 1. 3 to the power 5 has to be common. So 1 plus 2 by 3 x to the power 5. Another common mistake is to take 3 common and not to write the power. That's a mistake. So 3 to the power 5 is 81. Actually 3 to the power 4 is 81. 3 to the power 5 is 243. And if we break this, this is going to be 1 plus nc1. That means 5c1 b to the power 1. So 2 by 3x to the power 1 plus 5c2 b to the power 2. So 2 by 3x to the power 2, and we don't need anything else. We found our first 3 terms, 1 2 3. Okay, so 243 plus 5c1 is going to be 5, and we have 2 by 3x. 5c2 is going to be 10 from your calculator, and this will be 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, x squared is x squared plus dot dot dot. Now if you multiply this is going to be 243 into 1 is 243 plus 243 plus is plus 243 into 5 into 2 by 3. Now if you use the calculator, let me use the calculator here. So this would be 810x plus this would be 1080x squared plus dot dot dot. So if you multiply this and do the calculation, this would be the answer. So remember, for binomial series, the basic rule is the question should be in the form of 1 plus b to the power n, and it would be 1 plus nc1 b to the power 1 nc2 b to the power 2 plus nc3 b to the power 3, and that's it. And you can use the calculator to calculate this. The next one, this question is circles. Now the first question is we have to find the midpoint of AB. So if this is AB, 5 minus 1, you don't have to draw a diagram, but a diagram helps. 13 11, and the midpoint is M, and it has x coordinate x and y. So if you want to find the midpoint directly, you can write midpoint of AB equals to directly x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So this is going to be 5 plus 13 is 18. 18 by 2 is 9. 11 minus 1 is 10. 10 by 2 is 5. So 9 5 is the midpoint of AB. So we know that information. Now they're saying that AB is the diameter of a circle. That means if you have a circle, then AB is the diameter. That means OB, or half of the diameter, is the radius, and that means the midpoint of the diameter that we just found, M, this 9 5, has to be the center. So just by that information we know that the center of the circle is equals to 9 5, and we know that if AB, the length of the line is, as you know, the formula for the length of the line is x2 minus x1, 13 minus 5 whole squared, plus y2 minus y1, 11 minus 1 is 11 plus 1 whole squared, that would be square root of, I'm using the length of the line formula, 13 minus 5 is 8 squared, 11 plus 1 is 12 squared, so 8 squared is 64, 12 squared is 144, and it would be square root of 4 plus 4 is 8, and 14 plus 6 is 20, 208. So the radius is going to be half of the diameter, so radius is going to be AB by 2. So if AB is square root of 208, it would be square root of 208 divided by 2. Now if you remember circles, if you want to find the equation of a circle, you need to know the center. Suppose it's A comma B, x coordinate is A, y coordinate is B, and the radius, and let's call it R. So the equation would be x minus x coordinate of the center whole squared, y minus y coordinate of the center whole squared equals to radius squared. That's the rule that we're looking for when we're looking for a circle. And about the length of a line, this was in C1. Let's do C1 review. Length of a line, if you have a point A, x coordinate x1 y1, and if you have a point B, x coordinate x2 y coordinate y2, then the length of the line AB is going to be square root of difference of x, x2 minus x1 whole squared, difference of y, y2 minus y1 whole squared. That's going to be the length of a line, and that's what we did. Let's get back to the equation of the circle, because after all the question was find an equation for the circle C. So the equation is going to be equation of circle. It's going to be y minus, let's start, it has to start with x. Y minus starts with the equation of a line, so x minus x coordinate of the center, which is 9 whole squared, plus y minus y coordinate of the center, which is 5 whole squared, equals to radius whole squared. Now this radius is square root of 208 divided by 2 whole squared. Let's simplify this a little bit. Square root of 208 is 208. Square of 2 is 4. Now if we cancel this off, 2 5s are 20, 4 5s are 20, and 4 2s are 8. So the equation would be x minus 9 whole squared plus y minus 5 whole squared equals to 52. That's the equation of the circle. In question number 3, it falls under logarithm, and it is 3 to the power x equals to 5. Now remember, when you want to solve a log sum, if you have a to the power x equals to b, then the formula is the power, or the exponent, also known as the logarithm, is equals to log base ab. And then this can also be, you can change the base using the common base, meaning log base 10, so log b by log a. So this is the presentation of the sum. So this would be therefore, if you write it therefore, because this is the formula, log base 3 5. The next line would be log 5 divided by log 3, and you put down the value. If we calculate it, it would be 1.46 something something something. Write that, then write down the answer in 3 significant figure. You have to restate the answer. This is very, very important. If you don't mention this, you're losing 1 mark, so remember that. So 3 significant figure, that is the idea behind it. Now let's do number B. Now in the exam paper, it's always a good idea to do it below the sum. Don't do it side by side, they don't recommend it, but I'm doing it because of space. So let's do it here. Log base 2 twice x plus 1 minus log base 2x equals to 2. Now you remember the simplifying rule for logarithm. So when you have something, you do it here, simplify log. The first rule is, if you have log base c a plus log base c b, you can just multiply it, ab. Then if you have log base CA minus log base CB, you can write log A by B, division. So that's what we have to do here. So when you have this log base to this minus this, you can just divide it. 2x plus 1 divided by x equals to 2. Now there is the log formula. Let me write here, this is the first formula for solving. The second formula is if you have log base something equals to something, then that value x would be base to the power this value. This is the another formula for solving, so remember that. So whatever is here, this thing, so this thing is here, so 2x plus 1 by x, this thing would be equal to the base, which is 2 here, to the power whatever is here, which is also 2, so it would be 4. So we can write 2x plus 1 equals to 4 into x is 4x, 1 equals to 4x minus 2x is 2x, therefore x equals to half, and that is the answer. So when you do the log sum, it is extremely important to remember that if the value of x is positive or negative, if they say find one value and if you found two values, you have to put it back in the log and check whether we have log of a negative number. That would not be possible. Most of the time they just say solve it, but if you have more than one value, you have to check by putting it back. For example, if I put half here, it would be 2 into half is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, so log 2 is possible, and this would be log base to half. Log half is also possible. Log of a negative number is not possible. In that case, you might have to ignore that value. So the next question is this one. Let's go here. Question number 4. This is trigonometry. So let's start with the first one. The first one is 5 cos squared x equals to 3, 1 plus sine x. You have to simplify using identity and make sure it looks like this. So for this we need this basic identity. This basic identity. It says if you have sine squared x plus cos squared x, it is identical to, nothing fancy, just 3 lines means exactly equal to this. So from here, since we have to get rid of cos square x, we can say from here, if we send the sine square x to the other side, cos square x is 1 minus sine square x. In other words, it is identical to 1 minus sine square x. Similarly, we can also say sine square x identical to 1 minus cos square x. So this is the basic identity. So if we do this sum, all we have to do is get rid of this 5. Instead of cos square x, we can write 1 minus sine squared x, and if you multiply 3 into 1 is 3, 3 into this is 3 sine x. We can write 5 minus 5 sine squared x. Let's bring this 2 to this side. It will be minus 3 sine x equals to 0. We can write minus 5 sine squared x minus 3 sine x. 5 minus 3 is plus 2 equals to 0. Now does this match to what we have to show? It doesn't. We just have to change the sign. Multiply both sides by minus. It would get 5 sine squared x plus 3 sine x minus 2 equals to 0. Now it matches. So we have proved the expression that it can be rearranged and written like this. The next one is that we have to solve this. Now when they ask that you have to solve this, now remember we have already rearranged this. We have already rearranged this into this. So instead of this question, so instead of solving this, we can write 5 cos square x equals to 3 1 plus sine x. This is equals to 5 sine square x plus 3 sine x minus 2 equals to 0. It's the same thing. That's what we did in the previous sum, and they even mentioned the word hence. So what we have to do, we have to solve this equation. Now whenever solving trigonometric equation, it's always a good idea to use a substitution because this is so cumbersome. So if we use let sine x be a. So instead of sine x, we can write 5a squared plus 3a minus 2 equals to 0. So if you do middle term break, 5 into 2, that's what we have to do, multiply this coefficient with this is 10, and if you do 5 minus 2, you'll get 3. So that's middle term break. So 5a square, so this would be 5a minus 2a minus 2. So the middle term break is, if you subtract this, it will be plus 3. You have to make sure it is positive. This is very, very important. So if you take 5a common, it would be a plus 1. If you take 2 common, it would be a plus 1 equals to 0. Now the middle term break would be a plus 1 into 5a minus 2 equals to 0. So we can get two values, therefore a equals to minus 1 and a equals to minus 2 would be plus 2 by 5. So we get two values of a. Now remember, that means for a equals to minus 1, we have to write sine x equals to minus 1. I want you to remember this from the basic angles. If you have this is 0 degree, this is 90 degree, this is 180 degree, this is 270 degree, and again if you come back here, it is 360 degree. Now sine 0 is 0. So if you write sine 0, this value is 0. On the other side, if you write sine 180 degree, that is also 0. Sine 360 degree and sine 0 is the same position, so that would also be 0. So here if you write sine 90, it has a value 1, and opposite that sine 270, that has a value of minus 1. So whenever sine theta or cos theta has a value of 0, 1 or minus 1, you don't have to solve it using the quadrant and basic angle rule. All you have to do is write it directly. So you can just write this, therefore x is 270 degree. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to think about the you don't even have to do the sine inverse of minus 1. You don't need to do that. You don't have to write therefore x equals to sine inverse minus 1. You don't even have to write that. That's not necessary. You can directly do it like this. So this was pretty straightforward. For the next one, for a equals to 2 by 5, this should be plus 2 by 5, not minus 2 by 5, because minus 2 goes to the other side, it becomes plus 2. So it would be sine x equals to 2 by 5. Now remember, for this you need to use the quadrant rule. So solving a trigonometric equation, step 1, select the quadrant. You have to draw the quadrant. So you have to remember cos positive, all positive, sine positive, tan positive, CAST, cast. So you have to remember that. So for this thing, the first thing that we do is select the quadrant. So sine x is 2 by 3, that is positive, so it will be first quadrant, because in the first quadrant all positive, sine, cos, tan. And second quadrant, because in the second quadrant sine is positive, so we need sine positive. So this 2 quadrant, always mark it with the horizontal line. Next step is finding the basic angle. So finding the basic angle. So if you want to find the basic angle, you have to remember, if it is sine x equals to a, the basic angle is x equals to sine inverse a, and if it is sine x equals to minus a, even then the basic angle is sine inverse of a. Remember, doesn't matter whether it is a or minus a, in both the case the basic angle would be the same, always taking the positive value. So here this is already positive, so therefore x equals to sine inverse 2 by 3, and that value would be, it would be 23.6 something something. I recommend more accuracy, but for doing it quickly I'm just writing one decimal place. So this would be 23.6, and this angle would also be 23.6 from the horizontal, this portion. So now step 3 is calculating the angle itself. Now remember, if it's in the first quadrant, so this is the basic angle, so the angle that you're looking for, x, is equal to the basic angle. If it's in the second quadrant, this is the basic angle, 23.6 here, so the basic angle would be all the way from here to here, so this one would be, the angle would be 180 degree minus the basic angle. That's what we do. So in this sum, so the first one is in the first quadrant, so this one would be, this would be the basic angle itself, so x would be equals to 23.6. remember, I recommend more accuracy, more, at least 2 or 3 more digits. And for the second quadrant, it would be 180 degree minus the basic angle, which is 23.6. it will be 180 degree minus the basic angle, and that would be something like 156.4. so now you can restate your answer. So step 4 is select your answer. Select answer depending on what is the range. So here the range is, I think, 0 to 360 degree. Remember, it is not equal to 360 degree, but it is equal to 0. So between 0 to 360 degree, our answer is there. So we can write answer x equals to, answer x equals to 23.6 degree and 156.4 degree. You don't have to use degree throughout the sum, but I recommend at the end of the sum you just use the degree. Question number 5 falls under cubics. So the first one is, when you divide fx with x minus 2, the remainder is 1. Therefore f, if it is minus 2, it will be 2 and equals to remainder. That is the case. Remember, whenever you have fx divided by x minus a and you have a remainder r, it would always be f, whatever you're dividing with a, the opposite sign, and it would always be equals to the remainder. This is called the remainder theorem. Remember, now if it is a factor, then fa would be 0, so remainder would be 0. So this is the remainder theorem. So here the remainder is 1, so what we can do is now put the value here, put 2 here, so it would be x cubed, so 2 cubed minus 2, 2 squared plus a into 2 plus b equals to 1, remainder. So 2 cube is 8 minus 2 square is 4, 4 2 is 8 plus 9 2 is 18 plus b, this is not 9, I made a mistake, I didn't understand my own handwriting. This would be twice a plus b equals to 1. So this and this cancels off, so it will be twice a plus b equals to 1. This is equation 1. Again, x plus 1, when you divide it with fx, the remainder is 28, so f minus 1, always the opposite sign, is equals to 28. So let's put the value. So it would be minus 1 cubed minus 2 into minus 1 squared plus a into minus 1 plus b equals to 1. No, the remainder is 28, equals to 28. So this would be minus 1 cubed is minus 1, minus 1 squared is 1, so 2 into 1 is minus 2, minus a plus b equals to 28. So this would be minus a plus b, and minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3. If you send this to the other side, 28 plus 3 is 31. So if you multiply both sides with minus, it would be a minus b equals to minus 31. Be careful about that when you're changing signs, because this is a place where people make mistakes, so be extra careful. So by the question, let's solve the two equations by the question. So if you write this, 2a plus b equals to 1 and a minus b equals to minus 31. This is equation 1. This is equation 2. This is pretty straightforward, and we can solve it very simply just by adding. If you add minus b and plus b, they cancel off. Remember, don't cancel off like that. They will think you have cut the entire sum. So cancel it separately like this and this. So 2a plus a is thrice a. 1 minus 31 is minus 30. Therefore a equals to minus 30 divided by 3 is minus 10. And if I put the value of a here, let me put it in the second equation, it will be easier. So minus 10 minus b equals to minus 31. So it would be minus b equals to minus 10. On the other side would be 10. 10 minus 31, maybe it is not easier, maybe the other one was easier. So minus b equals, this is minus 21. Therefore b equals to 21. That is the value. So this is done. So a is, it's always a good idea to restate the answer. A is minus 10, b is 21, because the examiners, when they have to look for the answer themselves, they might make a mistake or they might get lost. So always restate the answer. It's a good habit. So the final thing is that we have to show that x minus 3 is a factor. Now remember, if it's a factor, the remainder should be 0. So when we do b, let me write b here. You can write fx as x cubed minus 2x squared. Now a is minus 10, so minus 10x, and b is I just forgot b was 21. Yes, 21. So let's calculate x minus 3. That would be f3. So f3 equals to, we don't know what it is. If it is equal to 0, then it's a factor. 3 cubed minus 2 into 3 squared minus 10 into 3 plus 21. Let's calculate. 3 cubed is 27, minus 3 squared is 9, 9 2s are 18, minus 10 into 3 is 30, plus 21. Now if we calculate this, this comes to be 0. That means it has been proved. So we have to restate this. The sum is not done yet. We have to restate like this. Since f3 equals to 0, this rule where the remainder is 0, x minus 3 is a factor. That's the answer.